Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Allen from Blade Technologies, and we will be going over the Office 365 feature set with you this morning. The first thing I'd like to show you is how Blade Technologies used Office 365 to greatly improve access to both files, email, chat, video, and call services from inside and outside the office. The way we did this is we used the Microsoft Office 365 Enterprise Class Plan E3. This enabled us to take advantage of features such as SharePoint, Outlook, Microsoft Lync, and the Office 365 suite using Professional Plus 2013. So first thing I'll do is take you through the locally installed versions of those products, including SkyDrive to access the files in our SharePoint library. So let's start with SkyDrive. So we have many files and folders that we keep online available to us for the technicians, for sales, for general use, and then for the administrative group. Now each of these groups has different permissions, and each of these groups needs to be synced to different individuals' computers. The way we tackled that was by creating a central library, and in this central library we deposited folders, which we then created access for each of the individual groups within those folders. So if I double click on this little icon down here that looks like a cloud, that is our SkyDrive Pro icon. SkyDrive Pro, like I said, is used to sync a folder or library from the SharePoint Online system down to your local machine. So what I'm showing in the window here is the sales directory underneath our main SharePoint library. So you'll see that it's my user accessing the SharePoint library on the team site under sales. Now, to me, it looks exactly like a file share that you would see on like your F drive or H drive or Z drive. Microsoft has gone to a lot of trouble to make the user experience very fluid in that manner. So what I did is basically we just go in and we sync a new library, and we tell the SkyDrive Pro application that I want to sync a different library than the one it's bringing up. We put in our URL, we hit sync now. When that's done, all these files and folders will be accessible on my machine. So you can see that if I go into any one of these folders, I go into literature, and I go to about our company, Blade, you'll see our PDF file here, and then you'll also see that I can open a local copy of Excel and I can edit that document. Now, conversely, if I was not sitting at my computer and I was sitting at a kiosk at an airport or perhaps a relative's computer that I needed to access that same documentation, I could then come to my Microsoft Online website. I could put in my username and password. I could then click on Sites underneath the Office 365. I could click on Team Site, and what this is going to do is open up all those files and folders that I spoke of earlier. Now, I'm an administrator, so here you'll see that I have access to all those files, and yet on my local machine I only chose to synchronize the team site for sales. So you can see sales here and sales here. So again, let's pretend that I've gone to a kiosk and I need to click on that exact same about document. I navigate exactly the way I did on my local machine. I come down, I say, okay, I want to go to marketing sales, I want to go to literature, and I want to go to about Blade. Now I can open the PDF, and the Office 365 system will make sure that I have access to that, or I can take it one step better. Let's assume that Publisher is not available on the computer that I'm currently sitting in front of. I can then click on the local or the remote installation of Publisher, and I can say, yes, I want to allow Office 365 to open this. That is going to live stream that document onto Publisher onto my local machine. Now, this takes a few minutes, but when this is all completed, I will have the exact same documentation and all the exact same functionality as if I were sitting in front of my own personal computer. When I'm done with it, all I have to do, save it, close the document, and it goes right back up. So that's kind of how we set up our file server structure. We actually don't have a file server any longer. We decided that we were going to depend on the Office 365 ecosystem and to load all of our customer files, all of our sales documentation, everything into the SharePoint library, and we were going to make that our primary means of storage. So that's a little bit about the what we call team sites. Now, you also have the capacity, depending on the plan you choose, to create a public site and also create sub-sites. So you can actually create a whole nother site if you wanted to give an external user access to certain files. You create a site just like that, give it which library functionality you'd like it to have, be it a template or a picture or a document site where only certain types of documents can be uploaded to it and by certain people. And then that would then be available to them to sync on their SkyDrive Pro or you or anyone else you'd like to see, and they can also access it from an external site. So that's a little bit about how we deployed that. So let's close this. The next thing I'm going to walk you through is the program that probably the most people in here are the most familiar with, and that is Outlook. With the Office 365 E3 plan, you receive up to 5 licenses per user of Office Professional Plus 2013. Now, they call it Office 365 mainly for the reason that you will always get the most up-to-date version of Office as long as your subscription is held up to date. So if you're paying your bill every month, you're going to get your most recent copy of Office if you so deem to put it on your machine. And I'll walk you through how to do that if you have an E3 plan toward the end of the program. So first things first, you'll notice it's Outlook, just like you've always seen in 2013. And for those of you that don't have 2013, the ribbon bar and some of the formatting may look a little different to you, but in essence, the functionality is very similar to Office 2010. So as you see on here, we can basically say, okay, I want to open a document and I want to read through it. I want to read through this email. I want to respond. It's exactly the same as if you were, sitting in front of your machine, because it's a full-blown installation of Outlook. Now, let's go back to our earlier example of I'm not at my computer. I don't have Outlook installed on this computer, and I still need to check my email, and I still need to be able to get that functionality that I get off of my Outlook client on my desktop. So once again, I would just go to login.microsoftonline.com. I would log in, and I would see Outlook. That's actually the first thing you see unless you're an administrator of the Office 365 environment. And as you see, it's very, very similar. We're looking at my mailbox. We're looking at all the folders that my mailbox has in it. I'm able to see the emails that we were looking at earlier. I'm able to go into that exact same email that we were looking at a minute ago. I can respond to it just like we did earlier. Now, granted, we're dealing with a web interface, but the functionality is all still there. So I can insert applications. I can change the way it looks to me. I can switch it to HTML if they happen, like this email is, to be formatted in just a plain text, and I want to send a graphic or something. I can easily do that from here. So obviously we don't want that email, so I'm going to discard it. So I can go through, I can do just about anything I need to do. Now, in your local copy of Outlook, you're going to also notice that you've got your calendar button, and you've got your contact button readily available. In the 365 Online infrastructure, it's slightly different. Up here, you'll see calendar. Looks exactly the same, just in a different spot. You can also see that I have access to multiple people's calendars, so I can overlay another person's calendar on top of mine just as I can in a full-fledged installation of Outlook. If I want to look up a person or someone in my company, all I have to do is go in and I just say, I want to look up David Mellinger. So let's see, he's right here. So that's David Mellinger, our COO, and if I look it up there, I can also flip over to our local installation, and I can see that he's here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you see this little green bar that's beside him and all these lovely little options out to the side. Those are provided as part of the presence information through Link Online. Now, you get them locally, and you also get them in the online service. So you'll see that he's online here as well. So no matter where I am, my presence information, which is available here, and his presence information will show up. If I look up anyone else in our company, we should also see that their presence information is available as well. So I need to talk to our service desk manager. I know that he's available. I could then choose to send him a new email. I could create a calendar contact, or I could start an instant message session. Now, in the case of David Mellinger, our COO, you'll see that he has all those same options as well. Now, if we go back to our local installed client of Outlook, you'll see that we have a few more options. We'll see that we also have the capacity to call and video chat with David. Those are because we have the local installation of Link on this box as well. So we've kind of gone over everything with Microsoft Outlook. We've gone through the fact that they left public folders on it, and you can get to all your file structures same as you can online. So let's say that I've gotten a hold of David, or we could do a hypothetical as well. Let's say that David sent me a message about this laptop bag, and I realized that I really need to get a hold of David on a different level. And I can simply go up here and I can simply start a chat, start a voice call, start a video call, or respond to an email. Now, I can do that in two different places. I can either do it by right-clicking on his contact information up here, or I can close this email and I can go to the Link app, which I have right here. The Link application is I jokingly kid around that it's the Windows Messenger Online on steroids. So Link Online is going to give you several different things. So it gives you a list of all the people that are currently in your organization. It gives you their presence information. And then you're also going to see any missed conversations that you may have had with any of these people, or any conversations that you held. These are all customizable settings. We chose as a company to document each conversation that goes on inside the company. Now, that appears here, and it also appears over in your Outlook under a folder by the name of Conversation History. So you can see here that all of those same conversations here and here are listed. So that way, if you need to search for a specific conversation between two people, you can do that. So let's go back over to the Link Online application. The other thing you're going to see is that it pulls active calendaring information. So there is a meetings section that appears on the far right-hand side. And what it'll do is it'll pick up all the meetings that you have scheduled for that day. Now, what it uses this information for is active updating of your presence information. So right now, you'll see that I am available. When it gets to 3 o'clock, it will automatically switch to busy or in a meeting, depending on how I have my settings configured. Once it moves to that, it will automatically mute my link because I have it set to do so, and then it will move those conversations directly into that conversation history where they don't pop up on me if I were doing an online presentation. So let's see if David Mellinger is available, and we will do a real quick call with him. So I've gone to that email. I've decided, okay, he's asked me if we have a messenger bag available for one of the technicians. I'm going to say, hello, David, just to see if he is available. As you can see, he's typing back, and he says, "Hi, John, what's going on?" So I'm going to say, "Need to have a quick call with you." So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him this. I'm going to see if he's okay with having a real quick online conversation with me. Now, if you look down here, you're going to see that my audio devices are configured so that they're pulling from my microphone and my speaker. These are completely configurable, and you can change them to whatever you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to link call real quick. And I'm going to say, "Hey, David, how you doing?"
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just going through this demo for the people on the other side, and I wanted to do a quick call. Saw an email from you that you needed a messenger bag, and we used that as an excuse to give you a call.
Oh, okay. That works for me.
So now let's say that David and I have had this conversation, and maybe I have the messenger bag and I need to show him in real time what that messenger bag looks like. I can then go down and I can say, okay, I'm going to start a video chat, and I'm going to see if David can also join us. So there you'll see we have a real-time conversation going back and forth, and if I had that messenger bag, I could then hold it up, or in the case of a granite manufacturer that we have, they use this technology to put it on a tablet, turn it around, and take it out onto the floor, and the customer would be David, and I would be the sales representative, and I could say, yes, I have that triple black granite you're looking for. I can hold that tablet up, and I can show them that piece of granite in real time across multiple locations. It speaks bounds to what you can do with the technology. So now that I've got David on the phone, he can say hi.
Hello.
So you can hear him quite well. We've found internally that sometimes the link conversations, especially if you're going to an external source, actually are clearer than our phone system. So we have a tendency to use it. So let's say we've got that, and let's just continue on that granite thing for a minute. So now I've got to talk to David about how I'm going to implement this granite infrastructure in his house. So I'm going to hover over this little icon right here, and it's going to allow me to show desktops, programs, PowerPoint presentations, or a whiteboard. I'm going to start with a whiteboard. Now, as you'll see, David's video went away for a few seconds, and what it's doing is it's reconfiguring to show the whiteboard, the video, and in full screen. So then what I'm going to do is I can take this and I can draw a picture of what I feel like the granite should look like in his house. Now, as we can all see, I am not a graphics designer, and this doesn't look pretty. But David is in real time going to see what I just put on that whiteboard, and he's probably going to chuckle at me when he sees how bad my drawing actually is.
I'm assuming that's a countertop.
It is a countertop, or an attempt thereof. So what David can then do is if he wants to draw something back on it because he doesn't like how bad my drawing is, he can then draw on it, and we will see the X marks because he didn't like the two joined together like that. So you're seeing in real time how two people can collaborate and make these decisions, speeding up all of the sales processes. Now, if I said, David, you've got something on your desktop, and I'd really like to see what that is. David then has the capacity to share with me his desktop.
I'll just get something up here for you.
So what you're going to see here is it moved from the whiteboard presentation, which I was giving, to David's desktop. So now, in real time, we've gone from a chat session to a voice session to a presentation of a whiteboard, and now we're going to take it to a whole nother level. We're going to say, we want to be able to see something on his desktop, and as you can see, I can see everything he's doing in real time. He's going to open a Word document for us, and that way we can see, hey, he'd like to type a few things out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, hey, David, I like that, but I need to request control. So now I've not only gone from speaking to him, now I can go over to the same Word document he is in, and I can type in that Word document on his screen. This becomes terribly important if you're trying to show someone how to do something, if they need help editing a document and you want to do a collaboration. There is a capacity to open multiple people can be joined into this conversation as well. And David's right. We can both type at the same time. So we can be doing anything we need to do regardless of the current state of the machine. So that's really all I had to show them, David. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So go ahead and let you go. So now we've just discontinued the conversation with David, and you'll see that it told me that I no longer have control, and it asked me if I'd want to rejoin the conversation because it wasn't sure if I did that on accident or if I did that on purpose because I didn't relinquish control first. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this session. So we've closed out of our session just then. So that's a little bit about how the link can improve the capacities of your internal organization. We find ourselves using the link for things like you just saw. When we have snow days, David and I will get on the conversation and we'll basically do some strategic planning. One thing that we didn't show you that you can do, if you have something saved into your SkyDrive folder and you both want to open it, so let's go back to our earlier illustration about the About Blade. If David were to go in to this document as well, you would see a notation down here on the bottom left that basically says there are two participants in this drawing or this document, and it would say David Mellinger and Jonathan Allen, and I can edit things in the publisher document while he watches, and then he can also accept or deny my changes to that document and participate in editing that document live with us. And honestly, that's because the document is aware that I am saving to an Office 365 location. Where we find this the most helpful is in things such as Excel documents and things like that, where you're doing multiple different levels of cell editing and things like that. So that's kind of how we used it to transform the way we do business as far as the document sharing back and forth. The video conferencing, like you saw, is extremely accurate and extremely clear, and that goes for inside and outside the building as well. You can sort by multiple different kinds of relationships and groups and add new people. And honestly, the feature set on this is so robust that you'll be finding new ways to use it all of the time. Um, Now, one real quick thing I did promise you that I'd show you toward the end of the process here um, is if you go up to John Allen and you go over to the administrator settings. So let's see, we want to go to settings. We want to go to Office 365. You're going to see that this is everything there is to know about me. Now, because we have the E3 program, we also have the capacity to install Microsoft Office. And like I said earlier, currently the version is Office Professional Plus 2013. And included in that suite is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Access, Publisher, Outlook, Lync, and InfoPath. I'm on a PC, obviously, but if I were on a Mac, this would automatically detect that I was on a Macintosh and it would switch to Office 2011, which is the current version of the Mac copy of Office. I have the capacity to change from 32 to 64-bit. I run the 32-bit for compatibility for compatibility reasons on my computer. But it's quite literally as easy as going here and then clicking on this install button. What that'll do is bring down a copy of Office directly to your machine and allow the end user to basically go in and be able to self-administer their own copy of Office. And because you get up to 5 versions, we tell people, go home, load it on 1, 2, 3 machines that you use, because the new version of the Office 365 is a per user, not a per device. So per user, you're going to have 5 instances. Now, as you can see, I've got it installed 3 times. I just kind of ran out of other devices to install it on, otherwise it'd be on all of them. Now, let's say that we have an older machine that maybe has Vista on it or, God forbid, Windows XP. And 2013 isn't going to work on that. We get the capacity with the Office 365 E3 suite with Professional Plus to downgrade one version. So we can then come down to Office Professional Plus 2010. That will allow you to install some on some older machines. Now, there are a few caveats with that. Lync for Office 2010 and SkyDrive Pro for Office 2010 are not the same feature set as Office 2013. So if you find yourself running 2010, the access that I've shown you is going to be limited on those machines. So you'll also see that I have the capacity to install Lync by itself if I so deem it necessary. If I have a Microsoft Windows tablet, so if I have a Surface RT or a Surface Pro, I can directly click on this, get the link, and it will install the app on the Metro interface on the start page for me. And Lync for the Metro interface and the Office products for the Metro interface are slightly different than the full installations of Microsoft Office. Still, every bit as good, just a little more touch user friendly. You can get SharePoint Designer, and then there's also a few things here that will allow you to, let's just say, migrate your desktop a little easier. So if you need to set up the environment that you currently have, you can actually click on Setup and it will do a lot of the things for you. Here we see some of the things available for the devices. iPad, you're basically going to be limited to the SkyDrive Pro application and the Lync product, I believe, and OneNote. I believe OneNote's also available. So that's kind of how the back end portion of it works. There are some definite other settings with the Office 365 suite compared to how your Exchange probably works now. You can come in, and in the Office 365 suite, you can see in real time the status of all of these features. You can also click on a View History and Details report, which will break down day by day, week by week, how each of these products has been functioning. Now, you're going to see that there's additional information on some of these days. That is, if Microsoft were to experience an interruption, you're going to get reports on those interruptions. The other thing that you're going to get through here is the capacity to change all these features. One thing to really point out is tracking of the licensing that you guys will get access to in any of your Microsoft products is very simple. You'll see that we have 250 user license. Now, because we're a partner, they're just offered to us. But you'll see when they expire. So that's when we need to have our renewals done. And for you guys, it would show what they cost and when they expire. Now, let's say that I have a user that I want to add a kiosk plan, or I want to add an E4 plan. Let's add Office with the capacity to do voice. I can come in and quite as easy as going to purchase services, I can say, okay, I want to add this $4 a month plan for the kiosk, and this person also needs Office. So then we're going to come down and we're going to say, all right, I'm going to get this individual a copy of of Office Professional Plus. And that'll be $4 a month plus $12 a month. So it's $16 a month. So then you kind of have to ask yourself, do I go to a full-blown E3? But for this reason, we just want a copy of Office. All we have to do is add it to our cart. It'll be a per user, per license, per month fee. It gets added to our pool of users. All we have to do then is go into that user and assign that user the copy of Office. It's really that simple. Further things that you can administrate under here, like if you go into Exchange, you're going to see all the same permissions and setup options that you're familiar with your Exchange server. So all the same things you can do. You'll notice that there's a thing called mail protection. So you're going to get basic malware content, outbound spam and quarantine system. You're also going to get the capacity for compliance management depending on the plan you have. There is the capacity to externally journal, so I can tell an exterior device that may be doing our mail archiving that I need to save all these items to an external device. I can also do in-place discovery and hold. So if I place a set of users or an individual mailbox on in-place hold, I can come back here and do legal hold on that box, do discovery. I can give a auditor access to that through the auditing tab, and just really drill down and help in an audit situation. DLP is exactly what it says, is data loss prevention. If I want to track what is being done on my network, I can do so. Retention policies are set here. We have our default in place because we don't really feel like we need to enforce it on the guys. Probably something an organization would want to go through. You'll see the link online service available. This is if you want to sit and dial in conferencing or meeting invitation logo URLs, things like that. And finally, you've got SharePoint administration. So SharePoint administration is going to take you to a completely different place. It's going to let you set up store rules and things on the SharePoint system that you may not feel comfortable doing. If you don't, we can definitely get someone from the Microsoft or one of the Microsoft partner teams to help you with that. SharePoint, it can be a rather large thing to try to administer. You'll also see some other basic links. Now, one thing that I've kind of glossed over, I think, the whole time here is we called the local installation SkyDrive Professional. Now, the SkyDrive that most of you guys are probably familiar with is more akin to a Dropbox style program with a cloud online product. So this is really going to be used for storing your local documents and your personal items. You're really going to want to stay in the SharePoint ecosystem if you're wanting to get to the customer documents and the things that you need to be able to get to on a regular basis. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Microsoft Office 365 suite of products is changing the face of the way individuals do business, and really kind of looking to the future. And I hope this presentation has been helpful in pointing that out. So thank you. And again, my name's John Allen with Blade Technologies.